Hi there, welcome to iTWireTV. Today we're speaking with Workday business architect, Adam Krebet. Thank you so much for joining us, Adam.
Thanks, David. I'm really pleased to be here.
Excellent. Well, I'm hoping, could we start maybe? Could you tell us in a bit of a nutshell what Workday does? And also, what does your role as a business architect involve? That's an exciting title, I've got to say.
Yeah, it's quite a history with Workday, actually. So the company started in 2005 when Anil Bushri and Dave Duffield got together and decided that they'd re-envisage the ERP industry because at the time, the ERP systems were very complex, very slow to adapt to change and not very information rich and user-friendly and all of those kinds of things. So backpacking on the newly emerging concept of cloud, they decided to build a new finance and HR product and take it to the market. And if we fast forward to today, we've now expanded that product line to include planning, spend management, and analytics as well. We've got thousands of customers who range from medium size up to Fortune 500 customers. And in fact, over 50% of the Fortune 500 organizations are running Workday. And we have scores of local customers as well, ranging from the likes of CBA down to much smaller organizations like Salvation Army, Xero, and Latitude Financial Services, for example. So my role with Workday is to map solutions onto the customer problems, to really get inside what the customers need to do and what their challenges are, and to draw out the way that the Workday products would be able to fit within their landscape and bring them business value.
Yeah, fantastic. No, that's exciting. And, when you talk about, Workday came about because at the time ERPs were, clunky, not very responsive, far out. That sounds like pretty much, I can definitely relate to that with many ERPs in the past.
And some still are, some of those old architectures have just been hosted externally and, continue to run the same kind of way.
Yes. And that's exciting that Workday was born in the cloud then, because, and that obviously gives you a lot of agility, I expect. Yeah. And so today I understand, well, as we all know, AI is a big topic. And so Workday's able to pivot on that very quickly, I understand, because you guys have just recently carried out an AI global indicator report, haven't you? Could you tell us a bit about that? And actually, sorry, I'm just so excited. As well as telling us a bit about that, I understand that one of your findings was that Australia was among the top 5 markets committing to AI, second in APJ, only behind Singapore. So as well as, I guess, talking about AI in general, I guess, why is Australia so interested in AI, if you have any insights on that? And importantly, is, saying that CXOs in Australia are committed to AI, does that necessarily translate into results? Is commitment the same as, achievement? I guess, can you tell me about your global indicator report and all these great things?
There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so this global indicator report was based on the back of a survey which had 3,250 or so respondents, actually a little bit more, all of whom were executives who have a key part in deciding on the AI and ML investments that their companies make. And as you say, Australian organizations came to about number 5 of the global respondents in terms of AI adoption, and second in the region, just behind Singapore. And it's interesting because Australians are both very savvy, I suppose, as a market, but also quite cautious. And one of the interesting findings for me was that in that survey, 48% expressed reservations, I suppose, about the trustworthiness of AI. So that's a really realistic kind of perspective. That being said, Australia's plans to adopt AI and to invest heavily in the next 5 years was actually very strong. 78%, if memory serves, of respondents said that they would be increasing their investment over the next 5 years. So on one hand, we have this real desire to gain advantage from AI and machine learning. And on the other hand, a quite realistic understanding that it has to be done carefully. So I think that underpins the idea that getting your data right, getting your models well trained, these are things that are really important to be able to avoid some of the potential pitfalls around all of the things we've heard, like hallucinations and biased data. So getting your data right is really important. And one of the things that also stood out for me was that there's a real gulf between the way that the average organization is investing and the way that pioneers are investing.
Okay.
So the study highlighted that the average organization is investing 18% of its budget in IT on machine learning and AI, which seems high. But when you think about what needs to go into getting all of this data marshaled, it's maybe not so much. Australia was a little bit higher than that average, but the study also separated out a group of organizations that it termed pioneers. And these organizations are leading the way in marshalling their data and conditioning it in such a way that it breaks down the silos between the systems and that they can really correlate results from across multiple systems. And those organizations spend like more, so those organizations spend more like 30% of their budgets on machine learning and AI.
Really? Wow.
So it's a big difference, but they're the ones who are really looking to leverage advantages in that kind of ability to make better and faster decisions and to increase automation through machine learning.
Yeah, wow, that's some amazing figures. That's really interesting. And I understand Workday itself is going to, I guess, help customers. I mean, you talk about customers making models, investing in machine learning, but Workday out of the box has announced, it's going to help shape how the future works, amplify human performance, elevate the manager experience. These terms sound really great to me. But what do they mean in practice? What are the nuts and bolts of that?
Well, there's a lot of ways that you can do that, of course. And actually, Workday's been at this for since about 2015, with around about 40 features in its products that are already delivered and driven by machine learning and AI. But what we announced in the recent Rising conference was a whole series of new capabilities that specifically use generative AI and also make more power available to customers by leveraging our partner ecosystem. Also, that in addition to having more AI and machine learning embedded into the Workday applications, that even developers who are using the Workday's Extend toolkit to build custom applications adjacent to their Workday products will be able to use the Workday AI Gateway to build AI and machine learning into those applications.
Okay. No, that's interesting. And I guess that leads me in then. The AI marketplace you've announced. So I guess that's your way that partners will be able to help with customers. I guess, with this, so these exciting things you're talking about, I guess, what does that, what does that require on the customer side? Do the customers need to be, employ data scientists and, machine learning experts to train models, or will these features that Workday is building in and that marketplace with partners, will that make it all so simple that, anybody at any company could just engage in AI to I guess, what does it mean from a customer perspective? What do they need to do to be able to work with these things that you're talking about?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because it's a big burden. Those investment figures that we spoke about before do highlight that rolling your own AI is very intensive and very difficult to do right. So the focus that Workday has traditionally had is on making use of AI features in the product as seamless as possible. So the things that we put into Workday, by and large, you just switch on, maybe configure some security around, and give it the body of data that's been accrued within Workday. And one of the things that makes that possible is that Workday has a very clean, very large data set that it can draw on. We've got, as I said, thousands of customers with tens of millions of workers under record, and all of that's in a very consistent format. So we actually have 625 billion transactions going through our machine learning algorithms every year. And it's very clean and consistent. And that puts us in an excellent position to be able to create engines that give trustworthy results and recommendations. So within the Workday product sets, we work on simple adoption. But as you step out into more custom builds, there might be some more work involved. So this is where having a partner ecosystem really helps, because our customers will be able to collaborate to understand the offerings that come from our partner ecosystem which have pre-build, they have trust built into them, and they'll interact with the Workday applications either through APIs, or they'll actually be extend applications themselves that use machine learning either in their build or in their execution. So a lot of the oversight that we put into our own applications around trustworthy AI, that kind of trustworthiness is something that customers will be able to get an understanding of through these pre-built packages on the AI marketplace.
So these, Adam, these things you're talking about are really exciting. But I assume none of these solutions were thought up in a vacuum. They obviously must be responding to problems, pain points customers are facing. And I suppose to help our listeners, I guess, get their own inspiration, what are some of the biggest challenges that you're finding modern organizations are facing, and how then do these new, the new smarts in Workday, the partner ecosystem, the things that partners can offer, how does that help companies with those big challenges?
Yeah, so that AI survey that we spoke about before highlighted that the two most important drivers that were making organizations invest in machine learning and AI were the ability to support better decision making, yes, and also to streamline work. And the Australian cohort in that study definitely identified that the ability to make better decisions was their primary driver.
Okay.
And that's very consistent with, I suppose, the way that we've thought about our own applications and the announcements that we made at Workday Rising that we were going to build into the application using generative AI. So a couple of those examples but go to both streamlining, but also bringing better information in front of managers so that they can do a better job, have a better dialogue with their workforce. So if I could, I'll give you a couple of examples. So one is to help them generate job descriptions. An interesting statistic from the Workday customer base is that right across our customer base, there are 20 million job descriptions generated every year.
Wow.
And if you've ever written one of these things, it takes a little while to get it right. There's all sorts of considerations around the way you phrase it, the bias, the appeal to different parts of the potential employee base. So using generative AI, we promise to be able to bring that down to minutes to draft those kinds of descriptions, and have the AI then interact with the human to be able to hone that and make it really targeted. So that's a great time saver, but it's also something that can help increase the quality of the candidates that you can get into the organization.
Yeah.
And in similar fashion, we announced a contracts intelligence capability, which can take the contracts that are signed by customers, compare them with what's in the finance system, which you actually execute against, highlight discrepancies, and help to normalize those two things so that accounting errors are reduced over time and earlier, which is really important from a finance perspective. So they're just a couple of examples, and they are alongside a series of others, such as creating knowledge base articles, helping developers build their code faster, and also helping managers marshal the information that they need to have a meaningful conversation with their employees when they're doing career check-ins. So there are great opportunities available through particularly large language models now.
Yeah, that's brilliant. No, they're great examples, and I could really see the efficiency. Well, not only the efficiency, but also the quality uplift as well. That's fantastic. That really is great practical ways that can help companies.
But it's really important, if I could add, that the human is in the center of that decision-making process. So this isn't about taking information away from humans or trying to pretend that the ML models can do it better. So it's really that sort of co-pilot, helping people to understand information more rapidly, to synthesize it, but ultimately the humans are the decision maker.
Yes, no, they're fantastic. I'm sold. So I've enjoyed talking with you. These have been excellent things. I guess one last one for me is, what else is on your mind? What other things would you like to tell the world and would like to make sure people know about Workday?
Oh, wow. That's also a very big topic. Look, I think one of the other things that, if you've done any research on Workday, the things that brought me to the organization were those initial innovations around an information-rich architecture that comes from the very core of the way the system's constructed, being able to make transactions and analytics work together. And those things still work just as well today, and they're just as important. In fact, possibly more important, because information is much more the currency by which organizations have to run. But the other things that really make the company exciting for me are the cultural sides of things, the way that the company outreaches to the public, and makes it a great place to work. And it's always been Workday's value system that employees come first, and that helps to make better outcomes for our customers too. So that's my own personal perspective, and maybe not exactly the question you were trying to get answered, but that's what goes through my mind.
No, there are good things. And you know what? Everybody wants to work with a company that, where the people who you're dealing with are happy to be there, engaged, love the company, that there's continuity, you're going to keep dealing with the same account people. So no, that's exciting to hear that Workday has that sort of positive culture. That's the type of company you definitely want to work with. Yeah, one where the people are happy to be there and want to do their best. And that's exciting. That is wonderful. I do appreciate that answer. Yeah.
And so I'm actually gearing up to paddle along the Yarra on Thursday and help clean it up.
Really? Is that a Workday initiative? Like is that day sponsored by Workday? Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's a giving and doing event. So we are allowed we're encouraged, in fact, to put time aside every year to contribute to those sorts of things.
Wow. Oh, that's fantastic. So we at the end of the day, we'll be able to put your cup in the Yarra and have a drink.
Well, there's only so much we can do.
No, but that's fantastic. That is a great thing. All right. No, well, Adam, that's been fascinating. I've really enjoyed that. I've enjoyed learning about Workday, about the AI smarts you're doing, about the partner marketplace, about the challenges that companies are facing and how these things can help. And also importantly, about how, people are at the center. People are at the center of what Workday is aiming to do to help power people to make better decisions, have better quality outcomes, and ultimately, I guess, to free people to focus on the great stuff that they can do and let automation handle, the routine and stuff, or surface insights, deal with that. And also it's been exciting hearing about how Workday not only values the customer person, the person at the center of the customer, but also the person at the center of Workday. That's exciting as well to hear about the company in that way.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time, David. It's been great chatting.
No, thank you very much. It's been really insightful. So that's been Workday Business Architect, Adam Krebet. Thank you so much, Adam.
Bye for now.
Thank you. You take care.